Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, my name is Rebecca Varney and I make motherhood and lifestyle content here on this channel. I have my trusty notes here because I will not remember everything when I'm trying to explain it all. Thank you guys so much for joining me today in this video, and I hope that you get something out of it, or you learn something new, or you find that it helps with making your decisions for baby number 2, 3, 4, etc. So I just want to preface something. I am not pregnant currently. It is a work in progress. I am in my 40s now. I just turned 40. It's weird to say that, but I am. And it feels like the older I get, the thought of having a baby just makes it more scarier being my age, because it's just like my son is coming to visit me. Hi. But there were just a lot of things that I learned and I want to share with you guys. Huh, Bubbash. And right now, if you guys have watched any of my most current videos or vlogs, you'll know that I'm on a health journey, kind of trying to figure out my hormones to see if I even can have another one. It's like weird saying that because in my head I'm like, I can. But the thing is that I have shorter cycles now since I had my first son. And if you guys have struggled with this, then, you know, comment below. Let me know how you helped your cycle lengthen. Naturally, I would love to know. There are some tests that you can take, like obviously to see where your hormones are at. I actually recently went to a naturopath doctor to see where my hormones are at, and I have not got the results back yet, but I'm waiting. I have another like few days, like I have to get through this week and then until Monday. So I'm just like, I hope for good news. And then when you go to your OB, they basically have a test that you can like make sure that you're ovulating. And I don't know why it went like this. I was thinking thyroid, but it's your ovulation and making sure that everything, you know, a couple things down there is working still properly. So those are the tests that I'm actually going to go and get blood work for come actually on Monday. So I have to take that test on Monday. It's supposed to be 21 days after your, like the last day of your period or something, or the first day of your period. And then you go get tested. So those are just some things that I'm gonna have to do, and very soon, to figure out like, you know, how everything's going and make sure that I'm in good condition to have another baby. But in this video, I wanted to talk about things that I'll be doing for baby number 2, as far as like in the hospital, a couple things, and then pregnancy as well. I'm going to be going over a couple things that I feel like I want to talk about in this video as well. I honestly don't think I'm going to remember everything, but I'll try my best along with my notes. Payson was my very first everything. Like, he was my first pregnancy, first labor, and I didn't honestly know what I was doing hardly at all. And it was very tough because I didn't have like a doula. I didn't have like a counselor of any kind. I had a midwife, and there was 4 midwives, and they cycle through each patient. And so if one's on call that night, then that's when you get, but you don't know which one you're going to get when you're in labor. That so much I didn't mind. I didn't mind having a midwife. I like that they're less protocol than doctors. I feel like doctors are very just like, you know, and not to say if you guys choose a doctor and that's your style, that works for you and that's good. I just felt like for me personally, I didn't want all the protocols, you know what I mean? I wanted more relaxed, laid back, more natural experience. Even though I chose a midwife, I feel like I didn't really get that because of the way that my labor went. And if I have a labor video talking about how my labor went and all of those things, and I'll definitely link it for you guys here in the above area. But I want to start with the epidural. So I'm actually I know that this video is about what I would change, but I think I felt very rushed with the epidural, and I hope that you guys can just, if anything, get some kind of like advice from this. And this isn't everyone's experience, but I felt with me that my epidural situation was very rushed, and it sent like a nerve down my leg, and only one of my legs was completely numb, which I was actually fine with that because I didn't want to be totally numb where I felt like I couldn't move at least one of my feet. I just needed some sense of control there, so it kind of worked out for me that I wasn't totally numb in one foot. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm kind of a claustrophobic person, so I don't like the fact that my legs would just be totally numb. So that's kind of one of my bigger fears next time in having a baby. And I know that it like fades and the medication eventually wears off, but it takes hours, and so that's kind of like where I get scared. I won't touch too much on that, but I think one thing I would do differently is just tell the doctor to chill the freak out. Like, just relax and don't rush it and just like stick it in my back super fast. I don't want that to scare you guys, because every person is different. I don't know what they call it. I don't even know what they're called, these doctors that give epidurals. I don't know the name, but they have a name. I want to talk about breastfeeding really quick. My son was pretty much colic from age born to, like, I think it was 6 months. So my son was very colicky. He's crying right now, and it was very, very difficult. I also wasn't providing enough of breast milk. I think I breastfed for about 3 months, but I was also giving him some formula here and there because I just wasn't producing enough, and that happens. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to breastfeed. I wanted it to be natural, but at the end of the day, sometimes, you know, fed is best, right? So you gotta feed your kid, and everyone's preference is different, and I understand some people are like hell-bent on breastfeeding, but if your body isn't producing and you're doing everything you can, you're eating lactation brownies, you're like trying to, you know, drink these like drinks that have a lot of protein and stuff, you do all these things to kind of help the situation, and it doesn't work. So it's okay, you know, if it doesn't work, it's not going to be the end of the world to give your baby formula. However, my personal conviction was to give my baby organic formula. I know that a lot of people can't do that because it's very expensive, but if you can possibly do that, I think that that is the way to go. But like I said, if you can't, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? I think there's like so many things that I would do differently, honestly, but I don't like remember a ton. I was very medicated, and I think the biggest thing for me is like how I'm going to relax my body for birth, because I felt like I was just super tense even though I had an epidural. You've never pushed out a baby before your first one, so you don't know what to expect. So everything in my body was just tense, and I feel like next time I'm gonna get into the bathtub. Like, I'm gonna make sure I have a bath. And I will be having my baby in a hospital just because I'm high risk, I'm older, and I feel like if anything went wrong, then I would definitely want to make sure that I am in good hands and I'm not just like here at my house. Like, if I was in my 20s, I'd probably reconsider that thought, but I'm definitely not, and I have to be smart. But I would absolutely love to have a bath and like have some incense and worship music playing, like a room that's lightly lit, because I even notice now that lights really, like bright lights really bother me even now, and I think that could be due to adrenal fatigue and other things I'm going through. But I did not like that. I did not like that, and I really hated how many nurses were coming in and out of my room. There's just a lot of things, you guys, and I honestly don't have time to say it all, but I do feel like those are like the big things of what I would change, I think, in my next labor situation, like going to the hospital. I want to talk about my second pregnancy, what that would look like for me, how I would handle that, what I would do as far as how I would exist as a pregnant woman. I would definitely stay more active. I gained about, I wrote my notes down, I gained about 55 pounds because I weighed, wait, is that right? I weighed 150, yeah. I got up to 200 pounds by the time that I gave birth, and I did mention that in my labor and birth video. And that was not fun for me because I felt that in my body, like everywhere. And I can't guarantee that I'm not gonna be that big again because I have not been able to drop like 10 pounds that I want to drop. So currently I weigh 161, 162, and I'm working on my weight every day. It's like, that's another reason why I'm checking my hormones, because I don't know if I can lose weight properly. So I'm really trying to figure that out as well. And you kind of want to start at a weight that you know, like, oh, well, if I gain like 30 pounds or 25 pounds or whatever it is, or even 50 pounds, then you're like, do I really want to tip the scale going over a certain weight? Like, it's all personal preference. Like, some people are, I don't like to talk about weight in pounds because I know every body's different, muscle mass, like bones, like everything is different. But for me personally, I'm speaking, and I hope you guys don't hate on me for this, is just, I have a certain body image, body weight, and it's not to be super ultra skinny or not to be big. I want to be medium because that's what I've always been. And I feel like that's like an athletic type style, and that's what I feel comfortable and healthiest in my own body. So working out in my next pregnancy, being active is super important for me. I'm going to do probably Pilates. I'm going to walk a lot. And I have made being active and having fitness in my life a thing because I was, after my postpartum, I just felt kind of like gross and not strong. I really wanted to make sure that I was, you know, being able to lift my kid up and like being able to get, like, protect him if I needed to with muscle mass of any kind. I'm sorry, Payson is a little noisy. He's a toddler, so can't really help that. And I had him in the other room watching TV, but he wants to be with me. He hasn't been feeling that great lately. I have my dog growling. I have the mailman here. My dog always growls when the mailman's here. And I have my son making noise and there's TV going. It's a lot, but I'm really trying to get through this. So baby number 2, like, how do I feel about having a baby in my 40s? I ask God that question every day. Like, why did you make me wait this long to find a husband and to have babies and all that stuff? But I am just trusting in him and his plan, and it's kind of like you just got to roll with it because that's your life. This is when he chose for me to have a toddler, and I don't know when I'm gonna get pregnant again. So the hope is sooner than later, because the reason why, you guys, I'm not hyping this up and like, oh, like, am I gonna get pregnant, like, or is she trying? You guys, I'm 40 years old. Like, I'm not in my 20s and 30s anymore. It's like I don't want to wait too long because my body, I don't think, can handle it, honestly. With the way that my labor went with Payson, my heart was hurting a lot in labor, and I was just experiencing a lot of uncomfortable things. So I did mention to you guys that with the shorter cycle, it's hard to get pregnant. After I had Payson, my cycles went down to 21 days. Actually, it was like 20 days, and now they're at 23 days. And I know that's very TMI, but if that helps you guys. So what that means is from the last day of your period to the first day of your period, that's like a whole cycle, and you count how many days those are. So if you're 23 or 22 days and less, it's considered a short cycle, whereas 23 days is considered normal and up. So I think when I got pregnant with him, my cycles were around 25, 26. They were totally normal and good. And I'm thankful, though, that my cycles are growing and they are getting like extra days. I'm gonna have to see what this month entails, but it's harder to get pregnant with shorter cycles. So that could be a big reason why it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. There are a lot of little things that it could be. I don't know. I changed the width of the camera, so I don't know if that looks different to you guys, but I heard these questions in another video, and I really wanted to just discuss this with you guys. If you guys are in your 30s, your late 30s, or coming in your 40s, even if you're in your 20s and you're having your first baby or whatever, I think that it looks different for everyone at different ages. And for me, becoming a mom later was actually good for me because I think I was just kind of an emotional mess in my 20s and 30s even. I was trying to heal in my 30s, and I was kind of trying to figure out like who I was going to be with like forever, and I was, going on dates and trying to figure out like who I was as a person. I was moving all over the place. Having a baby helped me to mature and to settle into the place that I was in my life. When I had my son, or actually when I was pregnant with Payson, we ended up moving to Utah. I got married. And there was so much going on at that same time. So moving, being pregnant, moving away from my family, and getting married, starting a new life with someone was a huge deal. So I can definitely tell you that was not totally easy, but Payson was definitely a good distraction for when I was moving away from my family and leaving everything I knew behind pretty much. Just being married and having to focus on like a totally upgraded version of your relationship was so different for me as well. So I would say honestly it worked out because I'm the kind of person that likes busyness, and I like to be focusing on like things. Sometimes it's good to have like all these things going on at once for me, but at the same time it was definitely hard, especially through postpartum after I had Payson, because I was very much alone. I didn't have a lot of help. I was just, my mom and my sister came to visit for a few weeks, but they live in California and they couldn't afford to be flying out all the time. So I felt very alone in that season, and I didn't have a lot of help, and it was just kind of tough, but I dealt with it, and I just did it, and I think that's what every mom pretty much has to do. but I just don't want it to be hard on my body. So I want to work out, I want to eat good. I know we can all plan for like eating good and working out and stuff, and not every day is gonna probably look the same because you are tired and emotional and just like all the things, so I understand. But that's like a goal of mine, is that's what I want to do this time around. It was different for me because I didn't have a lot of friends when I moved out here. So I think it's like if you are younger, or even if you have like a ton of friends and you are used to going out all the time and shopping and just all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you have a baby and it changes your whole life, and then you have to stay home all the time, take care of an infant, keep them alive. It is an extremely big change, but there's literally nothing better. Like there's nothing more beautiful than that time that you have with your newborn, and it is sweet and it is a God-given blessing. And I always say, like, there's going to be times to hang out with your friends later. Like, if your friends are your friends, they're going to stick with you through all the ups and downs of life. They shouldn't leave your side when you get busy. You know, they should understand what you're going through. That's just my opinion. I honestly didn't want to ever leave Payson's side. I wanted to be with him all the time because I am his mother, and I wanted to protect him. And I didn't trust anyone with him, not even my husband. It's not because of any reason. I just didn't want to have anything happen and I'm not there. Or, you know, the Mother Nature thing can't kick in when I'm not around. So I would take small mini breaks, like I would go to Starbucks, or I'd go to Old Navy, or I'd go to Target and I would shop. And those were like the little moments, I think, for me that really kept me alive because you just need a little break sometimes and you need your sanity. But I do remember like being afraid to drive him anywhere. That was one of the hardest things for me because I know how insane drivers are. And not to scare you guys, but if you are going to start driving with an infant, just go down the street, do something small for yourself, like go to Starbucks. That's what I did. My first outing with Payson was Starbucks. And then I think the second one was Starbucks, and then the third one was like Target. You know, just like drive down the street or whatever and kind of just ease yourself into that. Don't rush yourself to try to be back to your norm because you just had an entire life altering, changing moment. You know what I mean? So it's a big deal. Don't take that lightly. So I know this video is kind of going all over the place, but I'm just talking about little things. Like must-haves for newborns. I honestly, you guys, you are gonna know in your heart like things that you see, like you're gonna go, oh my gosh, I want that. Or, you know, I do believe that there should be some level of direction as far as what you listen to in videos or podcasts or whatever, but I do think that you'll be able to figure it out. I did watch a lot of YouTube videos because I was trying to figure it out. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I picked things that I loved and stuff that I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So don't make this mistake, but if you do, have the money to pay it off. I basically bought a Nordstrom card when I wanted to buy some clothes for an event that I had going for my old work. And I ended up charging it because I got all this baby clothes and all these like a wipe warmer and all this stuff from Nordstrom, which is like the most expensive store ever. But all this stuff that I bought is actually really good quality and it's lasted for this whole time. I mean, we've obviously had to retire some things because he's not an infant anymore, but it was such a good buy, all of that stuff. So I'm not regretting it. It's just, I did have to pay off that card and it's paid off now, but it was just like silly of me to kind of go and spend all that money when I could have probably found something just as good off Amazon. I would definitely recommend getting swaddles, like good swaddles. I can't remember the brand that we got Payson right now, but I do have old videos that you can watch from obviously almost 2 years ago now, and I talk about all the things I think in those videos of what we got him. Some people don't like the whole like super loud Velcro. Some people just like the snaps, the buttons and stuff, and I say it's preference, you know, whatever you want to do. We got the more expensive swaddle because we just wanted it to be we wanted it to last through this baby and potentially second baby. So that's why we invested more money in the swaddles and we really love them. We got a Frida baby bath, which you can find at Target. It's an infant bath and it kind of grows into toddler. And now my son is almost 2 and he's in the regular bath. We don't put him in like a kid bath or anything. I actually have this right here, but this Hatch sound machine has been really great. It has different sounds, it has different colors. We use the river sound with the orange light because the orange light is very calming and it's not very bright. And you can choose like the volume, you can choose the brightness of the color and all that, but it's great. It's been perfect for us. And then I do have a little mini sound machine on the side that we got from Amazon. It's like a little circle one and it's battery operated, or you can plug it in. It makes a couple noises, but we like to keep it on like white noise. I'm definitely gonna have my Stanley cup like when I go to the hospital and all through postpartum. I know that they give you those big, those cups are freaking awesome. Like I loved having that, especially when they wouldn't let me have water, which is the craziest thing to me. But I couldn't have water my whole labor. Like it was crazy. Or food, obviously, but not having water was one of the hardest things because you're throwing up. I was throwing up and it was just like seriously not fun. So Stanley cup all the way for labor, pregnancy, having the baby. I said that backwards, but you know what I mean. But that is all I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that you guys receive this message in love. It's not to be judgmental at all. If anything, I'm just trying to help you guys. And if you feel like I said anything offensive or whatever, it was not my heart, and I'm sorry if you felt like that. I'm just truly sharing how I experienced labor and things that I would be doing differently for that and pregnancy. And yeah, I'm really hopeful that we do have another baby. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, give this video a big thumbs up and please subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.